On talking about the success of the SEC in basketball this year. Here's what he said.
They have more teams than just about anyone. The Big 12, Big 10 now, they've all expanded. Where the Big East has not expanded. I've been trying to get them to expand now for 2 years. I think that even combining, like Coach K said, the ACC with the Big East in basketball would be a wonderful thing. So larger is better, certainly.
So it's a fascinating thought from Pitino, and here's my Uncle Seth Greenberg, no relation, with thoughts on that. You know, Seth, we live in a world where where football drove conferences to do all sorts of things that made a lot of sense for financial reasons and positively no sense for any other reasons. Basketball, on some level, I guess we could say, was something of a casualty of that. What do you make of the idea? He said the words "in basketball." What do you make of the idea of something like the ACC and Big East forming a conference together in basketball?
I think it makes sense. In fact, 2 years ago, I had a conversation with the people in the ACC office and exactly said that to them. They got to get back to the roots. The ACC was built on college basketball. I understand the money is in the football side of it. But you know what? You could create a super conference, the best conference in all of college basketball. You got to give these schools the resources. But you know what? Merging the ACC and the Big East, think about the matchups you would have. They wouldn't be games, they'd be events. You'd get back to the old school rivalries of the old Big East, but then you'd bring in some new rivalries like a Connecticut against North Carolina, Connecticut against Duke. To me, it makes sense. You've got to find a way to make it happen. And like Chip Kelly said this a couple months ago, he said what college athletics needs to do, and this made a lot of sense, regionalize everything else but football. If you regionalize everything else but football, to me, that's a win for everyone.
That's essentially, that's just a better way of putting what I've been trying to say. He said it more succinctly than I did. And I've known Jim Phillips, who's the commissioner of the of the ACC forever. He was the athletic director at Northwestern. He's one of the smartest and best people whose heart is in the right place of anyone you will ever meet. He's done exactly what he needed to do to keep that conference relevant in football and all of that. I think we are approaching the time, and I don't know anything about TV contracts, and obviously my own network is involved in all of this. I don't know how all of that works. What I do know is that everything they do makes sense for football, and it does not only doesn't it make sense, it doesn't benefit the other sports. It doesn't benefit the athletes in the other sports. There isn't any obvious reason why all of the players at USC and UCLA should be traveling to Rutgers to play anything but football, and we need to try and get to a day where we make that change, Seth, as far as I'm concerned, sooner rather than later.
100%, Grady. It makes no sense whatsoever. You're talking about UCLA and USC coming and playing in the Big Ten. You're talking about Cal and Stanford. And, you know, to me also, the ACC needs to get back to who it is. I mean, you've got to have these natural rivalries. We talk about college basketball. People aren't interested until the conference tournaments and the NCAA tournaments. Well, you know, let's get back to creating rivalries. Rivalries are built on tradition. We've got to get back to the traditions of college basketball. I think the Big East, great traditional conference, ACC together, matchups. And I'd even go as far as saying have two different commissioners, one for the non-revenue sports, one for football in those two conferences.
Okay, let's leave that there for the moment. It's something to consider. In the meantime, I want to show you the Tournament Challenge tote board. We got people signing up by the million. We're at 10.5 million bracket sheets and counting. My sheet of integrity is laminated. It's over there. And so as the tournament begins, the men's tournament begins tonight. We got games tonight. We're going to do a little Ask Uncle Seth here. Graziano's got a sheet. You love this stuff.
I do.
I love this stuff. So we've got a couple of quick questions for him. So,
Not on this.
Graz went to Georgetown. Unfortunately, we won't talk about that part of it. Okay, here we go. Seth, Carolina, for all the talk about them not deserving to be in the tournament, they play tonight. I think they're going to win. How far should people be considering taking Carolina to go in this tournament?
If you want to take a flyer, they can get to the Sweet 16 because getting in the tournament's the key. It's not, your resume's out the window. Right now, in this moment in time, think about their bracket and what would happen. Can they beat Ole Miss? Sure, they can beat Ole Miss. No doubt about it. Ole Miss is undersized. They got dynamic guard play, but so does Carolina. No legitimate big guy. And you know what? Iowa State, if they played them, they're without Keyshawn Gilbert, one of their best players. So can I see a path where they can get to a Sweet 16? I can. Will it happen? Not so sure, but it could happen.
Seth, I know that Duke and Cooper Flagg have felt like this steamroller, but he's also banged up. If he's not 100% or if he has to miss a game or two, how far can Duke go if he's not a full-strength Cooper Flagg?
I think they're Elite Eight. I think they can't get by Alabama if Alabama's healthy, and Grant Nelson's banged up as well for them. But I think they can get to an Elite Eight. Oh, look, their defense is elite, with or without Cooper. What Cooper does offensively, he's so versatile. He makes the game easier for everyone else. They need him offensively to take pressure off of Tyrese Proctor. But defensively, their length, their athleticism, their toughness, I think an Elite Eight would be a successful season without him. But that dude's playing. He's going to play at a high level, and Duke's going to end up in the Final Four.
Duke's a 1 seed, so are Florida, Houston, and Auburn. There's only been one time in history where all 4 of them made it to the Final Four. Which one is the one to take out? Which one gets knocked out?
I got concerns about Auburn. One, they've lost 3 of the last 4, but more importantly, they could play Michigan. And Michigan's got these 2 6'11" dudes. I mean, they are just different. Danny Wolf is a 6'11" point guard. He's going to play in the NBA, probably played his way into the lottery. And they put him and Glad Golden on this big ball screen. It's impossible to guard. They play ahead of the defense, and they got a little conspiracy going on in this game. Trey Donaldson, who is the point guard for Michigan, you know where he played last year? Auburn. I love the conspiracies. Michigan is legit offensively, and they've got legitimate size and can create some matchup problems.
All right, Uncle Seth, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. And a reminder, ESPN Tournament Challenge men's and women's brackets